Welcome to the Fortcast. I'm Dan Trink.
And I'm Kyle Fields, and this is Fortitude Fundamentals.
Drop. Nice.
Now we're doing it.
Now we're in it.
Yeah, we don't have any guests. It's me and you again.
Yeah. Back to the OGs.
Yeah, I mean, well, look, we got stuff we want to talk about.
Yeah.
Like right now, we were mid-discussion about, what fitness brands have the best long-term value over time. And we kind of landed on YMCA.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they have the heritage, right? Like they've stuck around.
They've been around the longest.
Yeah.
They're still around. What other gyms are there? There's like Gold's Gym. That was kind of like the original. Was that like around the 70s that Arnold popularized it?
Yeah.
In pumping iron.
Mid-late 70s.
Yeah.
And then there were just like a bunch of local gyms, and then the gym.
What other big brands came out of that?
I mean, like Jack LaLanne, which became Bally's Fitness,
right?
Was kind of like the first.
And they're not really around.
Not too much anymore. Powerhouse Gyms was like a chain. It's like a little bit more of like your kind of powerlifting meathead. And that still exists in small pockets. There are a few powerhouse gyms that are like really successful, like Bev Francis like comes to mind right away. But I think that's a little bit more of an isolated thing.
Yeah.
You had like your New York Sports Club, Boston Sports Club, a little bit more regional, but like a kind of a Northeast regional kind of thing. LA Fitness, kind of a big one. Now you have Lifetime, you have Equinox.
Why can't gyms survive? Why can't they stay? Why isn't there, a brand that's stood the test of time?
Yeah, it's concerning actually, because we could think about the same thing even with like at-home fitness, which we've talked about before. Like it kind of cycles through popular things, and those things
Richard Simmons, Susan Powder, Tony Little, P90X, Body by Jake. But it doesn't. It's not like there's just been one.
When's the last time you saw an Insanity infomercial? And those things used to be on all the time. I think they had their own channel for a while.
Yeah.
I don't know. Fitness tends to get lopped into being trendy for some reason. And then those trends come and people like kind of lose attention. I mean, real training can be a little bit of a slog. Like you need a real mentality for it. And I think those people end up finding their own way, but there's not like one way that's pervasive, I think, over all others, where you see like people just sticking with it forever.
Mm-hmm. I mean, the Bible stuck around.
Yeah. Yeah, sure.
How come the Bible can last, but training can't?
Right. Yeah, I don't know. And it's not like, it's not like going to church every Sunday is like a ton of fun, like for most of it, I don't think anyway.
I mean, and for a lot of people, exercise is like religion.
Yeah.
They do it in a routine.
Mm-hmm.
It's part of their identity.
Yeah.
It enriches their lives.
Yeah. And I think the fitness space, like from what we see and hear, actually does gain more and more market share each year. It's not that fitness isn't thriving. It's that I think it's just fractured. I don't think there's like one pervasive brand that seems to be like delivering the longest term value.
I wrote something down pertaining to this. Oh yeah, okay. The industry doesn't have a goal. The fitness industry doesn't have a goal. Yeah. No one we can't all arrive at like, what is the goal of fitness?
Right.
We have too many things that we want to achieve.
I actually think
for different people.
Yeah, well, sure. I think the fitness industry does have a goal. It's the same as the goal of U.S. politics, which is re-election. So that's all, right? That's all politicians want.
Every decision in our system.
Yeah. Any decision a politician makes
as long as you can
is based on re-election. I think every gym brand is like, how do we retain membership?
I think it would actually really help humanity if we just decided, what is the goal of fitness?
Yeah.
What is the goal of exercise?
Yeah. I mean, I think the other issue is it's just
why can't we do this?
Well, it's not a one size fits all approach, right? Like people are in fitness for different reasons. Like, there's
I guess that's true.
20-year-old men who are really just interested in body composition improvements.
But are they?
I mean, they will claim they were.
But they would claim they were. We've been in the game a while.
Right.
They are looking for something deeper. They're looking for satisfaction, fulfillment, confidence.
Yeah.
Like the underlying things don't really change from person to person. You might have a girl that wants to tone up, girl or guy wants to tone up around their waist or arms, and or someone else who wants to put on 20 pounds of muscle, someone else who wants to run a 3-hour marathon. They all want to feel better about themselves.
Yeah.
Underlying it, right?
Sure. I mean, I think if you ask most 20-year-old guys why they go to the gym, whether they admit it or not, it is to attract the opposite sex. I think that's just like a huge driver of why a lot of young people go to the gym. And then it splinters from there.
But even that, it's they want to be someone who they feel is attractive to the opposite sex.
Right.
Which is, being confident in yourself. I think it's still along the same, we're trying to get, I think it's possible to like identify that we all want the same thing out of fitness. I think it's possible.
Right. Well, I mean, the back half of our mission statement is, to experience your most powerful self.
Which I've been thinking about it lately. I think it should communicate like to not just experience your most powerful self, but live your most powerful life. Because experience your most powerful self maybe temporarily, right?
Yeah.
Like you could have a moment, but really what we want for people is to live a life where they're living their most powerful life.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's
That's
just
what
a matter
I want for people.
Right.
Anyway.
Yeah, it's just a matter of perspective. Like, but I mean, so I think all the things that get rolled into that are the things we're talking about, right?
Yeah.
Like, is it? It's confidence, it's capability, it's self-assuredness, it's courage, it's all those things, right? So
it's not needing anything to cover it up. It's being good with what's underneath everything.
Yeah. But I mean, that should be the goal of fitness. And obviously there's a health component that I think is real also. But I think if you're talking about the fitness industry, I mean, I think it's just, it's a little bit of a membership grab, right?
Yeah.
That's the goal of a 24-hour fitness.
Because you're always going to be able to like grab people's attention with different things, new things, novelty. This just came out. This works different. This is a new way of doing things. It's a new way of looking at things, which I think appeals to the fact that people want to keep improving.
Yeah.
It's kind of why nobody's ever going to be satisfied with the same amount of money. People are never going to be satisfied with the same level of fitness. We need incremental improvement. And like you could ask, somebody who's got like $1 billion, like how much money do you need? And they might say, well, if I actually had $2 billion, that would be nice.
Right.
Or like somebody who's got like $20, they would think, well, like if I had 40.
Right. Right. Well, I mean, you see this with like our coaching staff, right? Like they're all in very good shape and they're all like driven to improve.
They're still driven.
Yeah.
All our people are driven.
Yeah.
That's human nature. We want progress.
Yeah.
Once we feel stagnation or opportunity somewhere else, our attention's going to get drawn there. And we might give it a shot, especially if what we're doing is feeling like it's not yielding us the reward.
Yeah. But I think there's a lot of fitness brands out there that are like, they're there just to be, they have enough locations and enough shiny equipment and the right price point just to be the net that catches people when they're sick of themselves and feel like they need to do something. And they're like, oh, I'll go to my LA Fitness. It's close. It's $80 a month. It's got 400 treadmills. I'm in, and
that's always going to appeal to a certain part of the population for where they are mentally in their development, in their journey.
Yeah. I mean, I think they probably appeal to the biggest part of the fitness population, right? Like they have huge numbers, I would assume, nationwide.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, this is another topic I wanted to bring up. Then you're always going to have people like Liver King. Who's like, you know what?
Yeah.
The problem is that you're not eating enough organ meats.
Right. Yeah.
I eat raw organ meats every meal.
Yeah.
and look at me.
Right.
And then people are like, oh yeah, it's probably I'm not eating enough liver.
Right.
Clearly I need to eat more liver.
Look at that
so
guy.
I need to do what this guy's
Look
doing.
at that guy. Yeah, I call that the one cool trick guy, right? Like Facebook used to, I haven't been on Facebook in a while, but it used to have, like on the side column, it used to be like, I did this one cool trick and, I got 6-pack abs, or I made $3 million or whatever. And it's like, it's the biohacking guy. Like, yeah, you've been through this, you probably, and who's he appealing to? Probably people who like have gone to the gym, put in like a subpar performance or followed a subpar program, and were like not the most enthusiastic environment. And they're like, oh yeah, I did the conventional stuff. It's got to be some sort of secret, unconventional organ meat thing that's really going to get me there.
Something I've never heard
cannot
of
be
before.
that, right? It can't be like, oh, I just didn't nail the fundamentals and the basics and put my effort in and did it consistently over time, which everybody knows is what you need to do, right? Like people aren't dumb, but they don't want that to be the answer.
No, they don't.
Yeah.
It's way more exciting to think that I'm going to get way bigger returns from less investment if I just do this like new novel thing.
Yeah. Now there is a way to do that.
All right. Well, what do you mean?
I mean, there is a way to like kind of bypass the system in that way. There are hacks.
Tell me more.
I mean, the kind of
more. What do we need to do?
I mean, the number one that comes to mind is like anabolic steroids.
Oh, okay.
Like that.
Like actual ways to speed up the process.
Yeah, that actually works.
Yeah.
That's effective. It's proven over time.
I think like way more people using anabolic steroids these days.
Yeah,
and
well,
I mean, I think
Liver King being one of them.
Liver King absolutely being one of them.
Yeah.
But like TRT is it's a pretty like common thing now.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and more you'll hear like training methods for like if you're on, TRT, or if you're supplementing your testosterone, or, traditionally, like you didn't hear, it was very like quiet.
Yeah. I think the social stigma is fading on that.
Yeah.
I mean,
slowly, right?
Yeah. You still have legal implications, right? Like a lot of not under doctor supervision. Anabolic steroids are illegal in
but
the
you don't
US.
really hear like drug busts.
Not as
you know
much.
what I mean? It's not like it
it's
doesn't
not
seem
the
to be
witch
like a
hunt that it used
big
to be.
priority for the police department to like crack down on the steroid use.
Yeah. And without a good knowledge base or medical support, I mean, there are health risks, like very tangible, legitimate health risks that come along with it. So,
I mean, these are hormones.
Yeah. Yeah, this is not
that you are messing with.
Yeah, you are legitimately. I mean, that's part of the reason why they're so effective, right? Like you are legitimately altering your physiology, and like, that comes with consequences. Like we say, there are no free rides, right? Like
there's no biological free lunch.
Yeah. So, but I mean, it is a hack that works,
right? Right. Do you see that changing over time? Well, like, where do you think that's going? Because it's way more common. People talk way more openly about it. Like now, kind of like WWF, like kind of used to play like it was real,
right.
And it used to be the thing for bodybuilders to just be, act like they were natural.
Yeah.
And they just ate well and took protein.
Yeah.
Or
the ads that they're doing
or whatever.
in the fitness magazines
and,
are actually
now
reviews.
Bodybuilders are way more open about, what they take, how they achieve those crazy physiques that people are able to achieve now.
Yeah.
And it's just more open. It's more understood.
For sure.
You think this is a good thing? Bad thing? Where do you think it'll land? Because I think a lot of young people are talking about it too.
Yeah. So I think when you talk about like things like TRT, I think that ultimately is going to help people deal with the aging process. I also think it's going to end up being the number one prescription for depression. I think that is going to happen. It just needs to gain more acceptance and probably needs to find a way to be more profitable in the medical world for it to be a little bit more mainstream.
Yeah.
But I think that will be a thing that you'll see more and more. TRT as a way of dealing with depression. I think things like ketamine will be like a way of dealing with like traumatic
like therapy and trauma and like working through problems.
Yeah. I think like things like that we'll see more and more.
Absolutely on the rise too. The psychedelic intervention to treat traumas.
Yeah.
And sort of therapy. Traditional therapy issues. Yeah,
not something that like I've dived deep into, but certainly on the surface from what I've heard seems.
You think you would?
I mean, even from a knowledge base, not necessarily.
But like for you personally, do you think you have any interest?
You know what? I mean, I have interest in a theoretical way because it sounds interesting to me. I've just never been a drug user in my life, so I probably have like a little bit more of a fear of like how I would react to something like that. Yeah. But I think the stigma of all that stuff is fading.
Yeah, I think that's kind of the key, and I think you're a good example of. I don't think people want to do drugs, but I think they're open to treatments, especially under the supervision of professional medical professionals, right? You know, and data that like, hey, this has been used for this reason repeatedly and safely over time, and there may be some merit here to it, and you can at least decide for yourself and rest assured that it's going to be fairly safe, or at least that like this is doing it responsibly.
Right. I mean, people do things under doctor supervision that are probably not that safe or proven not to be that safe, but people are willing to do it because it's under doctor supervision, right? Like, yeah. So if these things prove to be safer and, they're kind of legitimized or mainstream, then I think you're going to see more and more people use them. Yeah. I think people want to know that some medical professional or some professional is giving them the thumbs up on these things, vetting it out, making sure it's good for you, rather than kind of dark web ordering them yourself. And, like that's scary for most people.
There's too much risk for most people to like jump in there.
Yeah. I think that's reasonable. I think that's a reasonable concern.
Right. That's fair.
Yeah.
So what else is, what's in the top of your mind these days? What do you think about?
I mean, like I kind of mentioned, I'm like, we do this like weekly newsletter where we talk a little bit about research when it comes to training and nutrition. So been diving a little bit deeper into that stuff.
The weekly 3?
The weekly 3 comes out on Thursday.
Yeah.
Check your local inbox.
Typically, does it follow a certain like 3 types of things?
Yeah. So there's a training tip. Well, it's really like training research-based thing, nutrition research-based thing. Sometimes not. Sometimes it's just like kind of an antidote or something like, something like that. And then a mindset-based piece of advice, which is usually just me being feisty about something. But yeah, those are kind of the 3 things. Yeah. So I thought of something interesting with you because I know you've been doing a lot of bodybuilding lately and talking about like the importance of like position and kind of more mind muscle connection. So this research has just come out or at least it's come to light recently. I think this was done a while ago, but they found that in trained individuals, if you just flex a muscle for 3 seconds a day, you can preserve muscle mass in the absence of training. So let's say you're on vacation. You don't want your biceps to shrink. You just do an isometric contraction as hard as you can for 3 seconds every day, and you will mitigate muscle loss. I thought that was pretty fascinating.
Yeah. I mean, like, what are the implications of that? Like, I do think that it makes sense to me.
Yeah.
With the bodybuilding, so I do it every morning. This is my routine. I wake up, I go to the bathroom, I get water, and I go outside, and I get about 32 ounces of water slowly. Like I sip it like through one of those big giant jugs that has like, this is 128 ounces of water that you should drink during the day. But I fill it up the night before. I put a little bit of salt in it, a little bit of trace minerals so that I can hold on to the water. Because I've read and listened to enough people talk about how it's really important early in the day to have sodium like in your system to be able to make neurological connections, right? So like I make sure I have enough water in me. And I get light into my eyes right away. So that sets my circadian rhythm, which I've found consistently waking up and getting light in your eyes at the same time, it has a much more profound effect than going to bed at the same time. Like that, when you first take light into your eyes. And I think at this point, just like when you're thirsty or dehydrated and you drink water and you can sort of feel yourself getting hydrated. Do you ever have that sensation? You can kind of like it feels a little, it's good. It's kind of tingly. You can feel yourself like rehydrating in the morning. I can feel that with light into my eyes, sort of, there's an effect in my brain, or at least in how it feels. And it wakes me up, and like I get a little bit more alert. My eyes are a little more open. I breathe a little bit deeper. I feel, my body waking up, and then I go to the gym, and I only train 30 minutes. I set a 30-minute timer on my watch, and I'll do pretty much the same movements, but I'll stand in front of the mirror and I watch my muscles, my body wake up. And I use it as a practice to sort of set the intention of who I want to be. Mm-hmm. So like I think of like the posture that I want to have, the way that I want to look, the way I want to stand and present myself. And then with the movements I do, and I only do like 3 or 4, but with the movements I do, I imagine building upon the scaffolding of the person I want to be. I try to wake up and engage the musculature on top of that scaffolding and allow it to function and work and signal to my nervous system, this is how we need to operate to like be this person that we want to be. Mm-hmm. And I do it every day. And my thought is like, you become the person, you become the person that how do I rephrase this? You are a sum of the things that you do the most, mm-hmm. right? So if I do this every day, if I just make it part of what I do, the way I brush my teeth, that it will have a compounding effect on me over time. And I also, then I don't have to really decide or think if this is like good or bad. I've just sort of made a decision. This is how I wake up, and I like it. Mm-hmm. It's not too stressful for me. It's a type of training that I have no resistance to. If I had to wake up and run for an hour every day, Goggins style, I would have days where I'm like, I can't do this. Yeah. But I can always stand in front of a mirror and do some flexing, some bodybuilding. That's fine. Low lift stuff. And I wake up, I feel good. I kind of go through the day then with this established of like, this is who I'm going to be today.
Right. Yeah. It's interesting. Like there's 2 ways of going about it, right? There's the like, what can I put in my daily practice that I actually can sustain? Right. And that's one way of going about it. And then there's the other thing of like, what is it that I'm resisting doing that I then have to put in my daily practice so I can overcome resisting?
The 2 things are really important.
Yeah.
I think the morning training sessions are going to give me next to nothing if I didn't have actual training then in the day. Because then, between 1 and 3, I'll train. And to me, training means now I'm going to do what I don't want to do. Yeah. That's the hour run, or that's the fort training program. Yeah. It's very rewarding. I don't want to do any of it.
Yeah.
I don't want to do any of it.
Get through.
It's hard.
Yeah.
It's a struggle to get through. You're going to address movement, strength, percentages and limits that are going to be, they're not easy. Mm-hmm. They're going to come with challenge, physiological challenge, focus challenge, ego challenge. You're going to do conditioning that does not feel good.
Yeah.
So that's a whole different, part of your mind. It's a whole different training effect. The 2, I think, work really well together. Mm-hmm. Like you should be doing something that you like. That to me is working out. Right. Working out is what you want to do. It's the fitness that you like. Yeah. It takes no effort to get yourself to do it because you're like, sweet, I like that stuff. Training is the stuff that you need, but you don't want to do it.
Right.
And you always kind of need both in your life.
Yeah. Yeah.
You will feel your best if you have both in your life. I should say I have felt my best when I have those in my life. And I've also found like if I'm all training with no working out, I miss some enjoyment.
Sure.
It just feels like I'm forced and suffering. And like, why am I suffering so much?
Yeah.
But if I'm doing everything that I want to do all the time, I do not feel that anything's happening really.
Yeah.
I'm like, it feels nice, you know, but I don't feel any adaptation or change. Tend to feel more pain, tend to feel less capable. Things start to break down.
Yeah. And I think this is probably true outside of physical exercise. You could apply this idea to probably any practice or tasks that you need to perform.
Yeah. Like in your career.
Yeah. Anything. Like,
right.
Yeah. It's like, what are the steps that what are the daily tasks that you have to do?
Yeah.
To actually advance your career or your business or whatever.
Because you got to do chores.
Yeah.
Like they're guaranteed any level of work success. There's like Elon Musk has chores.
Yeah.
Still, he's worth $300 billion or something.
Yeah.
But I'm sure he meets with lawyers. He has to sign compliance things. He has to like do just stuff he doesn't want to do. Right. But he has to do it.
Yeah.
And he's learned like, I will do it. It is worth it for me to do it.
Right.
But I'm sure that there's part of every day that he's interested in. He's excited about. It's the stuff he wants to work on.
Yeah. He does that stuff so he can have like 300 scientific nerds that they can, talk about space or whatever. And he probably loves that part.
Build a new rocket. It's going to like go to Mars. Like,
right.
Like you can tell like that's the stuff he wants to do. Yeah. You got to do both. You got to have both.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
Life is going to require them. At least in my experience from what I can see.
Yeah. All right. How about this for a cool experiment? Somebody did this. Bench press 60% of 1 rep max. Took the same person. One time they gave them a spotter. One time they did it, no spotter. One time they did it, they put up a barricade between where the spotter would stand and the bench. And the spotter was there, but the person didn't know the spotter was there. Right? So there was like an observer that like could not be detected
by the lifter.
Right.
Okay.
So they did this experiment with obviously multiple people. Spotter, no spotter.
Spotter, no spotter. Spotter, the lifter is aware that there's no spotter.
Correct. The lifter is right.
And then the third, there is a spotter, but they are not aware that they're there.
Yeah.
Got it.
Who do you think performed the best? Spotter, no spotter, or
I'm going to guess spotter.
Yeah. Spotter by 1.5 reps.
Okay.
Yeah. And the spotter had to be silent even during it. No yelling encouragement or whatever.
Well, the reason I would think that is that people would go for it.
Yeah.
With less fear.
True. But they did report a little bit more even like self-efficacy in the spotted sessions, like technique and things actually cleaned up a little bit.
Yeah.
Observationally with the spotter. So they think a little bit of his courage. And there have been some few experiments with this where people perform better when people are observing them. Like this is just like kind of a human nature thing.
So wait, what happened in the scenario where there was someone watching, but they didn't know that?
No difference between that and the no
so there
spotter
wasn't
at all.
Some crazy quantum physics.
No, there was no like double slit experiment type thing.
Like type of a result.
Yeah, nope, none of that. But yeah, having multiple people, I've even seen before, like 2 or 3 people watching you is a huge advantage in performance.
Oh, well, I mean, I've learned, going to the morning gym, like there needs to be people there.
Yeah.
If I had a gym in my house and there was no one there, I wouldn't want to go there. I would still go to a public gym.
Yeah.
To be seen by other people.
Yeah.
Even though I'm staring at the mirror and doing it myself. It matters. I don't know. I want to be around people.
Yeah. I think it's human nature. I think that's why everybody out there needs to get a training partner. It's a huge difference.
It's weird because it's not even like I want to be admired or like that I want to be seen. I want to be with other people. There's energy with others.
Yeah. I think
I don't know. I don't know what it is.
But I think that's how we're made.
It's how I think prefer it.
Yeah, I think we're built to be in communities.
Yeah,
and this is
I don't think I don't think there's a long-term fix of like working out on your own at home. I think it's a temporary fix.
Yeah.
But like can be better than nothing, keeps up your routine, goes to the training thing of like doing something you don't want to do.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody really wants to do it though.
No. Occasionally it's nice. Like sometimes occasionally, like you put on the music you want and you just work out on your own.
Yeah.
But it can't be the majority of the time.
Yeah. I mean, even Jocko Willink working out, deadlifting in his basement still posts his watch.
Right.
Just as a form of connecting with others. You know, that's his way of doing it.
All right. Last one from Dan's Research Corner. That's what we're calling this segment of the
Dan's
podcast.
Research Corner.
Dan's Research Corner. Okay. So Menser style training, Mike Menser style training.
One set failure.
One set to failure once a week, 4 to 6 rep range.
Okay.
4 to 6 rep range. 15,000 participants.
Okay.
Over almost a 7-year span.
Was this just done, or has this been?
This came out in 2017, I believe.
Okay, not that long ago.
Yeah.
All right. 15,000 participants.
15,000 participants over a 7-year span.
Okay, once a week.
Once a week.
Did you say 4 to 6?
4 to 6
reps?
rep range.
Okay.
Set to failure.
All right.
What they called momentary muscular failure.
Okay.
Because muscular failure means like you can not use your muscle again, which is not the case. It's kind of a little misnomer that we use here with muscular
Can't
failure.
do another rep.
Can't do another rep. That's it. What do you think the results of that were? What do you think they observed?
Of these 15,000 people, all different training ages?
Yes, all different training ages. Yeah.
I bet the results were like very good.
Yeah.
I think much better than most people would think.
Mm-hmm. So beginning trainees saw improved results for 1 or 2 years.
From this training?
Yes. 1 to 2 years on average.
Okay.
And then plateaued.
Okay.
And everyone else who had more.
So they kept getting better.
For 1 to 2 years.
Just once a week.
Yes.
For 4 to 6 reps.
Yeah. Now they didn't train once a week. They trained a muscle group once a week.
Okay. So they're going to train whatever they break down the muscle group as once a week.
Right.
So they could train like 3 or 4 days a week, but it's broken into like muscle groups or movement patterns.
So like if you're training quads one day, and then you train quads again a week later, but you don't only train quads and that's it. Yeah. 1 to 2 years for beginners and then plateau.
Okay.
No improvements.
And then intermediate advanced lifters?
Yeah, less progress in intermediate and advanced lifters.
Yeah.
So this could be a thing where this method just really works and is very efficient. This could be a sign of like, if you're new to training, like anything works for a while.
Yeah, pick something. If you're new to training, pick something you want to do or want to be good at. You want it to be pull-ups? Like get a pull-up bar.
Yeah.
Do it once a week. 4 to 6 reps or less probably. But just do it every week for clearly 1 to 2 years. You're going to keep getting better.
Yeah. It's amazing. That seems to be the adaptation.
It's such a low investment.
Yeah.
It's so easy.
Yeah.
Once a week, 4 to 6 reps.
Yeah. Now that 4 to 6
rep, 10 minutes.
Yeah. That 4 to 6 rep set is going to suck.
It's going to require a lot.
Yeah.
Right. You're asking somebody to do like maximal tension focus.
Like if you did a 4 to 6 rep max, like literal muscular failure back squat, it would be an uncomfortable set.
Did you do your 3 sets of 2 chin-ups yesterday?
Yes.
I did too.
Yeah.
It was hard.
Yeah, sure.
It took a lot of focus and attention. I feel like I did a really good job.
Yeah.
But that was only 6 reps, 6 working reps.
Yeah.
For the whole workout.
Yeah.
And hard. Yeah. For sure.
What did you use?
I used 71 pounds, so 32.
Yeah, that's what I used as well.
Yeah. And I feel really good about the way I did it, but it took every bit of attention and focus to get those 2 reps.
Right. Same. I've been holding myself to a very high standard with the chin-up reps, which is have to maintain the hollowed out position with stiff legs. So you can't fish your way up there. And because in the way our gym is set up, we have neutral grip, pull-up attachment. That's what we were going with. I guess, and I had to keep pulling until my shoulders touched the bar.
I'm in the same boat. Yeah, I have to touch here.
Yeah. It's not
It's not getting the chin over.
It is actually getting like basically closing the elbow joint.
Yep.
Right. And I do think that was probably like maximum weight for doing it to that standard.
I wouldn't have been able to hit my shoulders for 3 on any of the sets. And I needed a full 3-minute break in between to do the full range.
Yeah. And it was like,
I did learn something.
What was that?
A new thing. So like a full deep breath upon initiation of the pull up was really helpful.
Nice.
So like starting locked out, like even squeezing my triceps, 3, 2, 1, and then initiate and then go.
Okay.
Really helpful.
Nice.
Felt way stronger, way more connected.
Yeah. Certainly like depressing the shoulder blades, like getting the lats involved before you start pulling, I think is
you know what I think the breath did though? I think it boosts your adrenaline.
Oh yeah, could be.
You know, I mean, your eyes get wide when you take a full breath, a deep breath. Like I can feel the adrenaline like spike just temporarily. But I'm gonna play around with this tool, see if I can use it to my advantage in other things.
There certainly has to be some sort of like neurological signaling going on with like deep
makes
breaths.
sense. Look at the power lifters will do it.
Yeah.
Deep breath, then brace.
Yeah.
For that rep.
Yeah. Nice.
And first thing you do when you get in a really cold bath, just pulls the air right out of you. You know, your adrenaline spikes through the roof. But when your adrenaline's high, you can perform.
Yeah.
You can do more.
Yeah. It's when you like lift cars off of people.
So if you can figure out a way to spike your adrenaline, like you could use that to your advantage.
Yeah. Yeah. And the other thing that I'm in the middle of building out the next training phase.
Yeah. What are you thinking? Oof. It's a volume accumulation
phase. Yeah.
What do you want to get out of it?
Yeah.
People?
So
what do you want people to think?
I wrote a whole kind of philosophical text about what I was trying to accomplish with this training phase. That's where I started. Obviously I want to build up volume and work capacity, but the other thing is the way that it's kind of laid out is it's like these very high effort bouts. And then there's opportunities to then prove your composure after these bouts happen. So how can you recover from high bouts of exercise with either just showing physical composure, regaining your breath? How fast can you come back to baseline? How do you show composure from a physical stature standpoint?
So like the way you look physically after this.
Yeah. So there's like one thing, like this thing starts out with a bang with like a huge lactic anaerobic capacity effort. Like that's the first thing that's like coming right out of the gate. And then after that, you have a 2-minute recovery, which is like a stand in your square recovery. So
stand in your square.
Yeah. This is a Kyle Fields.
Well, I mean, my training took a huge jump forward when I started practicing composure consciously, intentionally.
Right.
Instead of falling on the floor or like losing consciousness, closing my eyes, laying down, going, you know.
So you have this like huge, like, you know, glycolytic bout of exercise, 60 to 90 seconds.
Yeah. And so like with volume and accumulation, that is the kind of the goal, right? Like pull all of the immediate energy stores from your muscles, like from your physical body, not a limit on your nervous system, but like now we're tapping into the actual muscle fibers and the energy that's immediately available, stored up in our ability to use in this moment.
Yeah. So you have like ATP,
pulling it out,
which is like your first 10 seconds or so.
ATP and glycogen.
Like glycolysis. So that's like kind of what we're going for in this very first thing. But after that, you have a 2-minute recovery, which is just
so then you're trying to like, you're seeing what you can fill back up.
Yeah.
How much can you refill the bucket?
How quickly can you get back to baseline from a cardiovascular heart rate standpoint?
And you're not expected to be able to fill up completely.
No.
Right. But like the idea is like, how do we stimulate the body to have a bigger bucket?
Right.
For the next time you come back to it.
Right.
And that's the sort of overreach, right? You have to like slightly ask more of your body than maybe it has available so that it sends the signal of like next time, bring a bigger bucket.
Yeah. This is how like you kind of move your aerobic anaerobic threshold, right? Like you have these like kind of bouts. Then further down the line in the workout, we have this like kind of longer, like a little bit more of like an aerobic based, but high intensity piece.
So now we're in like using your air, your breathing to help power.
Yeah, because it's just too long, you know.
It's not just stored up in your muscles. It's like delivered, created through your breathing.
Yeah, anything over 90 seconds, you're basically like, I mean, your aerobic system is always at play. It's just like how much. And this is like when you start going to longer bouts, your aerobic system is like what gets favored. That's why
things start to hurt when you're going at a high level for more than like 45 seconds. Yeah. More than a minute and a half, you're really like hurting. You're really overreaching because now the bucket is running out.
Yeah.
Right.
But then after that, we have like a recovery thing, but it doesn't necessarily need to be like a stand in your square because it's not as intense as that. But we're doing some kind of like not such high output movement, but it's like, can you execute the movement, you know, while you recover from the thing that came before? So it's a lot of this like kind of different energy system, high intensity things coupled with like some other recovery or other movement-based recovery things.
But you're demonstrating your composure in different ways, depending on what energy system you're needed to use.
So there's a lot of like, you know, just different bouts interspersed with different ways of showing your composure. So you're working on work capacity, you're working on composure or recovery from those bouts of work capacity, body composition improvements just because there's a high metabolic demand. And we're also doing some weight training under already metabolic distress, right? Like I'm knocking you with this huge metabolic stress right out of the gate. So you see body composition improvements. And then just the very nature of these things, weights tend not to be that high, which just gives you a lot of practice with reps at sub-maximal weights, which I think coming off our reps,
more practice.
Yeah, coming off our last two phases is like kind of an important thing. So those are like kind of the drivers.
It's going to feel very different.
Will feel very different. It'll be, especially given the time of year and the humidity levels that are about to hit New York City, you know, there'll be a lot of sweating.
You keep your hydration, sodium levels up.
Yeah, it's important. I think recovery factors will be important here, but I don't think it'll feel as kind of as structurally taxing. I think it'll be more like cardiovascularly taxing. Mm-hmm. You know, you're not going to be like, oh my God, get under a weight and feel it in your hands or on your back and be worried. It's just going to be more like, how do I survive the next 13 minutes where I just don't stop breaths? Yeah. So it'll be a little bit of that, but I'm excited for it. I think I don't want to say it's like totally different than anything we've ever done because I think all these things are related to each other.
But I think there's elements that are new. Yeah. Like the conscious composure element that's built into the program. Yeah. Sounds exciting. Sounds cool.
I think it's next. It
sounds engaging.
Yeah. And I think it's something
I'm interested in this.
You know, I think we always are looking at like, what does our community and our population need to train based on what we're observing,
and us being part of the community too, because we're doing it. Yeah. So we feel it as well. Yeah. There's an element of like, what would be good for us?
Yeah. And I'm interested in people seeing what the fringe benefits of this composure, you know, is the keeping your hands off the basketball shorts kind of thing. Yeah.
Because I think people have gotten something out of the super loading of this month, which was a new idea. New concept for people, but you let them play around with it, you let them feel it, and then they come to some conclusions on their own, because we can tell them all day, but they need to experience it, feel it, and like see how it fits in.
And I want a little bit of a mindset shift of like, I want people to see how hard I've worked by rolling around on the floor to, I want people not to even know how hard I worked because you know, I'm stoic and standing here and like I'm bulletproof.
I want to be indistinguishable from recovered.
It's very powerful, I think. Very hard thing to do.
It helps you feel very powerful, for sure. Feels like you can do anything. Yeah. And keep going.
Yeah. Jason Bourne never shows that he's hurt. You know what I mean?
Well, Dan, I've loved talking to you.
Yes, it's been fun. Should do it more often.
Yeah, we will. Well, this is the end of this episode, and I'm Kyle.
I'm Dan.
And we are from the Fort, where we take training seriously.
And we do what works.
And we'll see you in our next media podcast conversation event.
Yeah, who knows what it'll be.
Who knows?
See ya.
Bye.